Hello, Steffi. It's so good to have you here for this interactive session that we're creating right now from our own home offices today. So good to have you here.
Roxana, it's great to be here. You're always a good interviewer, and I'm so excited to learn how to be better set up remotely.
So before we start, let's just say that you are used to working from home, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am used to working from home.
Mm-hmm. You do your coaching sessions from home as a habit, right?
Well, it's a good question. I did a lot by phone because I work with
Mm-hmm.
people in different places, mostly in person
Mm-hmm.
before the pandemic, and a lot on phone. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody was comfortable. I only did a few on video.
Mm-hmm.
Now that everything has changed, it's becoming all video. So it's like learning it again because I used to do interviews for Google Hangouts, but I really haven't properly set up. So it's almost like a new frontier for many of us, I think, right now.
And it's I'm happy that you said that because I've been talking to a lot of people who were used to working from home before this crisis happened, and it still changed a lot for them because they used to be working from home and they were alone at home, and now they're not alone at home anymore. And also other people that they were working with are in a different setting right now, so it takes a lot of effort just to do the setup. Just
It's so
reset.
true. It's so true. Has my cat, who sounds like somebody dying, is outside the door, and then my children are sleeping right now. And so we're all working in these new circumstances that you have to be flexible with, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the least you want to do is put more pressure on yourself and on your family. We got enough pressure to deal with, right?
Exactly. They say now we're working at 80% of our capacity during this crisis because nobody's at full capacity. We're dealing
Yeah.
with the trauma and change and all these things, so we have to be self-compassionate for sure.
And I love that you mentioned your cat. Because that actually allows us to dive right in.
All right, all right. There's a purpose for him, is there?
Exactly. Because one of the things that we didn't have to think about, especially for formal meetings, whenever we would go and have a more formal meeting, it would be in a formal setting, usually in someone's office, and that would be already a professional setting that we didn't have to think about, right? Now we're at home and we're trying to have as much as possible of a professional setting as we can if we have, I don't know, client meetings or interviews or anything that is more formal. So the space starts to be super important. And the sound, the background noise, is one of the first things that is going to have an impact on our meeting and that we don't think about. So it's the
Almost
cat.
like meditation,
Like,
Roxana. Almost like
exactly.
meditation. You're supposed to
Right?
allow, I think in this time, if people are
Yes.
practicing mindfulness, you
Yeah.
just have all these sounds around you now. You don't have the potential to go to a quiet room necessarily.
Exactly.
So it's learning to do that too with our remote work, isn't it?
Exactly. And be flexible about it. I mean, and what I find is that people are starting to be more flexible, and they know, right? They know you're at home. They know you might have people around you, and these are busy times. Everybody does something while they're at home. So we understand each other because we are in similar situations, right? We work from home with everybody around us. If there is something that I can do to minimize the distractions, then definitely I will do it. So some of the things would be, if you are in a room with a window, try to have the window closed just in case, I don't know, the fire squad decides to pass by or something happens outside that is going to be noisy, and it might distract you and it might distract the other person that you're talking to. The first thing is this: I usually put it on mute.
Smart. Okay, gonna do that
So
right now.
that,
Yeah,
yeah, right?
we forget.
Because
Yeah.
if I have, I mean, it's like, again, if I have a conversation with somebody, a professional conversation, I will put my mobile phone aside, or I will keep it in my purse or somewhere where I can see it so it doesn't distract me. It's the same thing. But because we're at home, we forget. And we might be getting a call while we're having the conversation like we're having right now. So I don't want this to happen. What I also do, I don't know about you, but what I also do is if I have an important meeting and I need a little bit of more quiet background, is I let my family know about it. And I say, look, I'm
Yes,
going to be in that
absolutely.
room having that meeting between this time and that time.
I agree. I agree, because it's easy that a child walks in, needs something, or someone wants something, or shouts out, and it happens. But if you let them know these are your times, I texted my family this morning because they were all sleeping, and said, by the way, I'm talking to someone at 10 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, perfect. So the cat. Okay, so
Yes.
now I see that you're not wearing any headset or any headphones or anything.
No, I have them here, but I haven't used them. So
Okay, so what those actually do, if you decide to use them, is they are going to minimize the noise in the background. Because so you are in, I presume it's a small room because you don't have any echo in it.
that's right.
So whenever you can have meetings without the headphones on for more formal meetings or interviews, or where you want to keep the background noise to a minimum. Having and wearing the headset will help, because the microphone will not capture the sound in the whole room. It basically captures mostly your voice.
Do you recommend, Roxana, a certain type of equipment? Like, this is Logitech that I have for my camera and headset with a built-in microphone. Is that good enough for quality for sound?
Yeah, I mean, I have this, and I usually, the thing with this is that I have to be very careful of how it moves, because it can get closer or further from my mouth, and then my voice is going to sound with more, it's going to have more volume or less volume depending on how this moves. So actually yours is better because it's fixed, right? But again, I don't think we need to put any kind of pressure on ourselves. So whatever you have in your household, use that, and try to make a little bit of rehearsal and testing, like testing, 1, 2, 3, and you can record yourself and see how that sounds. So you know how you should keep it, how close to your mouth you should keep it. You should keep the microphone so that your voice sounds okay.
Okay, and that's where the testing comes in. You're allowed to
Yeah,
test on Zoom, and it will show you the level. Should it be mid-level of the bar?
exactly, mid-level of the bar. And then if it's not mid-level, you see what you would like to adjust. Either keep it further away or keep it closer. Don't keep it too close though, because it's as if I'm talking on the phone and I keep the phone right next to my mouth. It's gonna sound weird, right? So you don't want it too close or too far away. But it's good to test it before, because all the headsets that come with these kind of embedded microphones, they're going to have different levels of how they capture the sound. So it's good for you to know what your voice is going to sound like, and not just your voice, but how the other people will hear you, right? You want them to hear and understand what you say.
Yes, yes, yes. And when you set up, Roxana, do you do a different bar with the audio? because usually I go in calling internet audio. So when you set up with equipment, what is your advice for people in terms of where they connect through?
Yes, connect with computer audio if you have this headset. If you don't and you have to dial in, then you will be connecting on your phone. But it's easier. If it's computer audio, it's going to be so much easier. And once you do it and you set it up, then it's going to stay the same, and you don't have to do the setup every time that you have a meeting with somebody or a recording with somebody. You've done it once. You know how it sounds, you know what to do, and that's it.
Do you have to do anything differently if one time you use it? So if I set up to use the equipment and then the next time I don't want it, I just want to talk like I am now, do I have to reboot, recalibrate?
Normally, it will remember the settings unless you have to do an update or and restart everything and reset everything. But normally, it remembers the settings. And what's also helpful is that these days we have the kind of technology that knows where the balance is. So normally when you start, you will have the headset, the sound level already balanced, because the system will know what the recommended levels are, right? So you just have to play around and see how that sounds, and if there's anything that you would like to change, or maybe it's just the position of the microphone, and then you don't have to deal with the settings, with the computer settings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that is it for the sound. And again, so we have to be careful about taking consideration the background noise and how we could minimize it, what we can do that is easy for us to do to minimize it. And then if you have any headsets with an embedded microphone, that's perfect. Use them whenever you want to make yourself heard better, minimize the background noise. And if you are in a group setting, that's actually better, because otherwise, if you are only using your computer sound, when you're meeting more than 3 people, it's gonna sound weird, and you might be getting echoes, and you won't be able to hear them properly. So to make sure that you're avoiding that, when you're meeting more people, just make sure that you're wearing headsets.
Good to know. I didn't know that about meeting more people. Yeah. Headset and microphone is better. Okay.
It may happen, because what people do is also they increase the volume so they can hear the others. And when you increase the volume, you also I can hear myself, I can hear my voice on your computer, because it's going to be on speakers, right? And it's going to be distracting for me and for everybody else, because everybody's going to hear my voice as I speak, and then my voice again echoed in your computer volume, right?
Sure. Right.